Hi everybody. Okay, so the bold. The main story was the wedding, but really the vows. And then there were other stories that came out of that. Okay, so the wedding. A good bit of the cast was at the wedding, but then you have to have separate storylines because Rich didn't go to the wedding, which I'm going to talk about that too. But then also, Taylor just happened to be in her office, and Sheila didn't go to the wedding because she wasn't invited. Now, okay, I want to talk about two things that come to mind immediately, and then I'll talk about other stuff too. Okay, so Rich was invited to the wedding. He chose not to go. Now, I don't understand why he would choose not to go. Um, like I said, apparently Bill and Rich have some kind of big thing that happened, I guess, a while ago, and they've never gotten over it. And apparently, when they're in the same room together, they don't really function well, which is really weird because I saw Don Diamant's 40th anniversary celebration for being in the history and the thing for 40 years, and Torsten K was at the celebration and said something. So apparently they're friends off screen, but the characters are not friends on screen. So go figure. Okay. So then the Ridge, they had to have a storyline, or they had a storyline with Steffi for the most part, and then Eric, John McCook was there today. He was in the show, like where they put on the fashion show. He was on the runway. But he clearly didn't expect for Ridge to be there because he said something like, I was on the runway, but I'm sorry. If I would have known you were here, I wouldn't have done it. That kind of thing. And I was like, anytime he says anything like I'm sorry in his own company, I have a problem with that because it's his company. Ugh, okay. And then Rich said something, but I guess it was supposed to be an apology for how he treated and how he treated him and how he reacted to the whole thing, but it didn't feel like an apology to me. So I don't know. Okay. Let's see. And then. Whoa. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have news. Okay, I know when Kimberly Brown turns on the bad side. I saw it with my own eyes. Okay, again, but like with clarity. Okay, so she from yesterday, she's not invited to the wedding, so she asked Taylor, kind of begged Taylor, to have a session with her because she needed to get some stuff out, I guess. So then, as a continuation, they go into today, and she's still in the office, and Taylor is saying, I know you want to be there, and I don't think it's right that you're not there, but as a bride, Hope gets to choose who she wants at the wedding, and then they're talking, 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 and she says, I wouldn't cross the wedding because it would be a crazy thing to do. Okay, now the minute Taylor says crazy, um, Sheila takes it as Sheila turns on as like, you know, I could unalive you with a look. Okay. And she says, are you calling me crazy? I was like, oh, okay, there's the thing. There's a trigger. Anytime anybody says crazy, like around her, she thinks they're calling her crazy. So then she turns into evil, you know. I literally saw it with my eyes. I was like, whoa. I thought she was going to do something to Taylor in that moment. I really did. And then I was kind of excited for it. And then I was like, well, damn, they're not going to do it. And then I was like, oh, okay. Because she's like, Sheila turned off. right away and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Today is just a bad day." I was like, "Damn, I'm really disappointed." um. Okay. Let's see. So we have that going on. And then they did the wedding differently than I thought they would entirely. Okay, now I've talked about the officiate thing. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. What I'm going to talk about is about that they made it like a more community wedding than your standard wedding. Because, okay, a standard wedding, and this I know because I've seen many weddings on TV. I've seen some in person too, but just go with me. Um, they usually say, "Hey, welcome to the thing," and does anybody have any reason to say they shouldn't be married? And then you get to the vows, and then they say, "Okay, present the rings," and then after the rings, you're married, right? Okay, well, they didn't do that, obviously. What they did was had different members of the audience, the family, say things to the couple, and then they said things to each other, the vows, and then they exchanged rings, and then they're married. So they did most of the things that you would normally do in the wedding. So it was nice. I mean, I can't like I well, there's two sides of my brain here. I didn't want the wedding. But now that we've had the wedding, can it be like the last wedding these people have? Because if they don't, then I'm going to be like over it. Because they were married before. Liam did something to mess it up. Then he was wishy washy with Steffi or Hope for like decades or whatever, a long time. And now all of a sudden, because he had the injury, which was stupid, he's now reformed and knows what he wants to say. Okay, I've seen it before, I heard it before. Can you guys stay married until something else? I mean, honestly. And I know that I just set a prescription for boring TV, but there's got to be an in between boring and wishy washy. There's got to be. Okay. So somehow find the middle ground, please. Because, yeah. Besides, as much as I say about the character of Beth, okay, the actress who plays her is really cute, and I don't want her to be disappointed. So, uh, there goes my whole theory about you could be married to different people and your kids be all right. That's all shot, but no, well. Um, so, yeah. Okay. Hopefully, we'll be on to another storyline tomorrow. It'll be Friday, the end of the week. Hopefully, they'll have a cliffhanger. That's really okay. That's gonna be my focus on my next video. But I haven't seen a cliffhanger on a Friday for a while, and I'd like to see that actually. So, all right. Bye, everybody.